Never say these 12 things in a job interview. Using these phrases and discussing these topics are among the top reasons that hiring managers are going to think to themselves after your interview, I didn't really like that person. Luckily for you, I'm going to walk you through exactly what those 12 things are, what to say instead, and provide a bunch of my best interview tips and tricks along the way. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video so I can explain to you how to enter for a chance to win a free resume review from me. By the way, I'm Greg Langstaff. I'm a certified resume strategist, and I am on a mission to get as many people into jobs they love as possible. Okay, number one, never ask about salary or benefits during the job interview. Now, I know you want to know the information that you would get if you asked this question. Of course, we all do. But in this situation, it's going to make us look a little bit greedy. It's going to make it look like we are just in it for the money. So there is a time to ask these questions, which is after you've received a job offer, before you accept that offer. That is the one point in this relationship where we hold all the power, and that's when we're going to ask about salary and benefits. Number two, never say anything bad about your old job. Now, we might have plenty of bad things that we think about our old job. There's probably a very good reason why we're leaving that job. But no matter how much it sucked at that job, it will always hurt you more than it will hurt them to say something bad about them. The reason being, we don't want to look like we're the type of person to cause problems or hold grudges. We want to make it look like we're nice and easy to work with. So let's keep all that stuff inside. Now, if they do ask, why are you leaving your current job, or why did you leave your last job, you can use this sheet that I created as sort of a translation guide to help you answer those questions diplomatically. I'll let you pause the video and take a look at that now. Number three, this is the most common mistake people make. Do not ask them, when will I be hearing back? Now, I know you want to know when you're going to be hearing back. Of course you do. However, just remember, that question does not benefit you in terms of getting this job. If they like you, they will reach out. They will very eagerly reach out to offer you the job. So just play it cool, sit back, and wait. Number four, I can't believe I have to say this one, but apparently I do. Don't swear in your interviews. I have heard recently a few examples of people doing this. Just don't do it. No matter how casual the work environment is, this is a job interview. Keep it professional. Keep it PG, or whatever is even more conservative than PG, and you'll be fine. Number five, do not answer what is your biggest weakness with a strength or a cliche. They don't want to hear how you're a perfectionist or you work too hard. What they want to hear with this question is, do you have self-awareness on the things that you need to work on? And ideally, have you been working on those things? So the perfect answer would include a weakness that we have that we're aware of and we've been actively taking steps to improve on. For a full rundown on how to answer that question specifically, I have linked up to that video that I created on that question earlier, so check that out when you're done with this video. Number six, never say, I don't have any questions for you. At the end of the interview, they are inevitably going to ask, do you have any questions for us? We want to demonstrate that we are very interested in this company and in this job by asking questions at this point. Now, the best questions you could ask are going to be questions specifically about this company. So do some research, find some things on their website that are interesting to you, or maybe some gaps you've noticed in the information you were able to gather about the company or the role, and ask about those things. Now, you can also ask some generic questions that could apply to any job. I'll put a few of my favorites on the screen here. Feel free to take a look at these, use them at your leisure, but remember, doing research on the company and the role is going to yield the best and most impactful questions. Number seven, do not trail off at the end of your answers. It is very common to get to the end of an answer in an interview and finish by saying, yeah. What we want to do is end our answers with confidence. So if you get to a natural stopping point, just stop talking and smile and nod. Or if you feel like you really need to sum up, you can circle back to the question. For example, you might say, and that is an example of a time that I worked with a large budget. That is how we answer the questions, with confidence. Number 8, do not admit when you don't have an answer for a question they're asking, and more importantly, don't tell them that you've never done something that they want to ask you about or that they want you to have done. What we're going to do instead, of course, we're not going to lie. We're going to tell them either a story of a time we did something similar or of a story of a time we worked with someone who did that thing. So if they ask you about your experience creating budgets, and maybe you've never created a budget, we might tell a story about a time when we had a detailed discussion with our boss about the budget that they had created, or about a time when we were asked to work within a budget that someone else had created for us. Now, to make sure we don't get caught off guard with a question like this, watch this video that I created on how to predict what interview questions are coming up so that you know what you need to be prepared for and where you might see some gaps in your experience where we might have to prepare the types of stories that are just sort of adjacent to our experience as opposed to directly tied to the questions they're going to ask. Number 9, never say, "I'm nervous." And there's 2 reasons I advise on this. Number 1, it may put into doubt in the mind of the hiring manager your ability to handle high pressure situations. And number 2, we're all nervous in this situation. A group of strangers is judging us, and their decision is going to affect the next several years of our lives. So of course, we are nervous in this situation. Now, if you can avoid it at all, don't address the nerves. You're going to be fine. But if you do feel like you've made a mistake or done something weird because of your nervousness, just replace the word nervous with excited when you're explaining yourself. Let's say you spilled your water. You could say, "Oh, sorry about that. I'm just really excited for this interview." Number 10, do not ask about work flexibility, sick days, vacation, any of that stuff during the job interview. This is the same reason we don't want to ask about salary or benefits. We want to make sure that they are fully convinced that we are completely committed to this job. So asking immediately about when we can not work or when we can have time away is going to put that into doubt a little bit. Now, of course, these are natural questions that we're going to have. And again, just like salary, the time to ask these questions is after you receive a job offer, before you decide if you're going to accept that job offer. Number 11, and this one happens embarrassingly often, if they ask you about something that's in your resume, do not say, "It's in my resume." They already know that, and they are trying to give you an opportunity to elaborate on something that they most likely already found very impressive. Now, this is an amazing chance to make a strong impression on them. This is an amazing chance to connect with them on a deeper level on some of your best accomplishments. Take this as a good sign. Don't be afraid to be redundant and explaining things that they've already read about you. Now, before I touch on the last thing to avoid in a job interview, if you want to enter to win a free resume review from me, take a moment now, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a comment below. If you have a question, you can comment that. If you don't have a question, maybe just tell me that you like my hair or something like that. I've been fishing for that compliment in most of my videos, and it just hasn't been coming up. I don't know why. I work really hard on this, as does my barber. But aside from the point, if you'd like to win a free resume review from me, enter into this competition I'm having by leaving a comment down below. Finally, number 12, do not, during an interview, admit that you are unfamiliar with the company or the job. Now, we want to avoid questions like, "So what exactly will I be doing in this role?" Or, "What do you folks do here?" We want to have done some research on this company, on this department, on this position to have a solid understanding of what's going on before we get there. When I was a recruiter, the amount of times that we asked the question, "Why do you want to work here?" and the answer was just something the candidate had read off the front page of our website was astounding. If you want to impress them, dig deep, do your research on the company, the department, the industry, things that they are facing in their industry, upcoming changes, and just be generally aware of what's going on. Not only is that going to help if they ask you, "Why do you want to work here?" but it's also going to help you shape and add context to all of your other answers throughout the interview. It's going to much improve your chances of getting hired. Now that you know how to nail all your job interviews, I highly recommend, to get more job interviews, you check out my free resume writing course here on YouTube. It covers everything you need to write an amazing resume. It's totally free. Check it out here.